Hello, it's Loretta West with Tangle Tuesday on November 1st, 2022. And today we're going to have a fun lesson. It's going to combine a lesson that I'd done previously in October of 2020 called, I think, something about the river knows the way or something river-ish. I can't remember the exact name, with fall leaves in a sort of a stream. We're going to sort of utilize that idea, but mix it up a little bit. And we're only going to use 2 tangles, essentially, to do it. So you're going to need a piece of paper. And let yourself also settle and get situated before I do all that. And if you can, sit with your feet flat on the floor or raised on some books or something like that, and get comfortable into your chair. Let your back sit against it and the back of it. So I have to turn this around so I can see. This is nicely keystoned. There we go. So you're going to need a piece of paper. I've got a Strathmore artist tile that's 6x6 so that you can see it. You can also use a Zentangle tile. Looks like that, with that on the back. Or any paper really will work, any kind of drawing paper specifically. But if all you have is copy paper today, then that will work as well. Okay, you're going to need a pencil. So I've got an HB pencil here. You can see it's kind of rough, but it's loved. And a pen. And I have today, I'm going to use an 04 Sakura Pigma Sensei pen, which has a bullet tip, a plastic nib. And my backup pen, because I couldn't find another 04 around, is a 0.5. It's a soft nib. It's about the same though in what's the word, width of a Faber-Castell artist Pitt pen fine liner. They also call it F for fine. And I also have a tortillon for spreading out some graphite if I want to, and I've brought some fall colors along. So I've got some Prismacolor Premier pencils in fall colors. This one's PC924, PC929, lovely Sienna Brown at PC945, a yellow jasmine, they call it. It looks more like ochre to me, PC1012, and a French gray. It says 90% French gray, so I didn't know there's a difference. PC1076, and pumpkin orange, which is PC1032. Since we're certainly still fall here, the colors are really coming in. The leaves have dropped about halfway, and the larch trees, or we call them larch, a lot of people call them tamarack, are turning their beautiful, brilliant yellow in the forest. And it's quite lovely. So you're going to start by taking your pencil, and we're going to draw a string. So this is a perfect one if you're just starting to learn Zentangle as well. Just going back a little bit. Let's see, that's good. Okay, so I'm going to put some dots about a thumb's width, or it could be finger's width, depending on your paper, from the edge of my square here. With my pencil, I'm doing quite lightly, but possibly a little darker than you would so that you could see it. And then connecting the dots, I'm going to do it in sort of a square fashion, but you could do it in a not so square, like it doesn't have to be that. So they're kind of wavy little lines. I don't feel particularly straight line today. So there's my frame around the outside. And then we're going to make a string, a few strings on this one. The first one is slightly to the right of this corner dot. and a wavy line down to the other end, to the top, just above the other dot, and another one on the other side. So we've got this sort of ribbon running through our Zentangle. And we won't be utilizing that or putting anything in it this time or right now. So you might want to think about maybe putting a quote in there or a certain tangle. I'm going to leave that blank to give you an idea, or sorry, to give you room to come up with your own ideas there. And then we're going to bisect this line. So I'm going to start, this is about 3 fingers width in here, with a curvy line coming down. I went right over that ribbon that was cutting through there. And another one. And they're not mirroring each other, but they are all wavy lines. Okay. So then I'm going to put my pencil away and bring out my 04 Pigma Sensei. So I'm going to give you a couple of options here. Before you actually, with your pencil, you might want to do this just so that you get it straight and not confused. It's just put a tiny little X in a box in from one side and then down here and another one up here, so that you know where this first tangle goes. But if it gets mixed up, it's okay. Oh, I'm going to put one down here too. So most of you might be familiar with the Tangle crescent moon. And the option I'm going to give you with this, so I'm just going to do a little sample here on another piece of paper. Normally, what we would do is these sort of crescent moon shapes coming around the inner edge of the space we're working on. So I'm just doing this really fast. And then we would aura around each one. I'm going to continue on, and another aura. Continue on. And then we come in and do these sort of a labyrinth kind of maze thing around each one. So that is your standard crescent moon. So today, the option I'm going to give you, if you'd like to represent this beautiful fall season that we are still in November, is instead of using crescent moons shapes, instead of using the crescent shape, to use a leaf shape. So like this, a little different, and maybe have some veining coming down like that, and carrying on around the inside. And your leaves don't all have to look the same. They can look different. It's sort of like a half of, I don't know what that is, rounded off diamond. I'm sure there's a name for that shape besides leaf shape. Something like that. So let's start. I'm going to start, as I said, I'm going to put them where the crescent moons or the crescent or the leaf moons. What would that be? I'm not sure. Okay, I'll stop trying to think about it. In one of the X spaces. So I'm going to start with the large ones that you can see. And I always like to start with a large space, so it sort of gets my hand warmed up. And I'm going to do these little leaf shapes on the inside on the inside of this opening. I can tell I haven't drawn yet this morning. Things are a bit rusty. That's okay. So I'm just going to go aura around each one. And give myself time to warm my hand up. And you could turn your tile as well, which I should be doing. As you go along, you can turn it around. And I've got them sort of intersecting here because I didn't quite give enough room, but I'm just going to go with that. I kind of like it. It looks like hills. I'm just going to do it. And go for it. So I've done my 3. Now the other option you could do is you could keep going with your auras and carry on that way so that they would eventually overlap each other. And or you could do a sort of spider webby inside, just oraing around in a single line, oraing around, a verb, who knew? Okay. It gets kind of tight in there, so I'm coming back. Right. And then I've got these leaf shapes. I could go in, I could color them, save them for later, not put any lines in, but I'm going to put some lines in here, some veining. That's quite pretty. Oops, got another one here. Take a minute, to admire what you're doing. We're taught to be modest, but there are times where it's okay just to say, hey, this is really good. I really like this. It's really pretty. Okay, so I'm going to try to fit another one in here, little tiny, teeny, eeny, weeny. We have room for 2 little half leaf shapes. We're going to try it. Just do a little bit of through here, whatever you can fit. And then one over here. And the more you do it, the better your hand gets at remembering what it's doing. And I find that my shapes and line gets better. Usually, sometimes not. I just give it that time. Oh, what did I just do? I did it backwards. Oh, well, we're just going to go with it. All right. I'm just going to, in the Zentangle fashion, I'm just going to go with these leaves are veined this way, not the way I did it before. Oh, I was in the zone. Okay. So I'm going to aura around the outside of these. That's funny. It's all right. It's a wonderful thing about Zentangle is that nobody knows what it's supposed to look like. Okay, let's come in and do my little maze experiment. And it's all an experiment. Yeah, remember that. What we're doing is really all a little practice of mindfulness and art, but also an experiment. So in all experiments, there's going to be opportunities for something different. Is that one totally different? Funny. Okay. And then I'm going to try this one. This one I'm going to try to do the way I intended and see how well I do. Okay, so now I'm going to put the veining in right away. So last night was Halloween and oh, the kids are so fun. But there was two little boys that came and we've got this window beside our door. It's at head height, so you can see who's at the door. And I come around the corner to answer the door, which they ring the doorbell like 50 times if you don't get there in a nanosecond. And there's this person with a Freddy mask, Freddy Krueger. Looked like it was handmade out of paper mache, staring right in the window. it sort of made me jump for a second, but then it made me laugh. And I opened the door and I was laughing, and the little boy who was wearing the mask said, "I just like to look and see if there's a big bowl of candy by the door." Ah, dear. It was cute. So I'm just going to do a little bit of that over there. Okay. This one. So that is one step. And we're going to do the next step, which is kind of like Strickles and Nipa all at the same time. So what I'm going to do is continue this leaf shape on the other side, but I'm going to leave it empty, negative space there. Where did I do these ones? Let's do. I have to confess that I didn't draw this all out this morning. I just had two ideas when I was looking for a pen case. I know it's so bad, but I was looking for a pen case and I found this thing and I went, oh yeah, oh, that was such a good lesson. Then I was looking for something else and I found this thing and I went, oh, I can combine them. So this is why we're doing what we're doing. But it's a bit seat of my pants. Okay. And I'm not doing them inside that one. I mean, you could do them in. Well, I did. Okay, I will do them inside that one. I started down there. Fine. I shall continue. Just have it dip into there. Okay. So these, now we're going to do the remaining negative spaces or empty spaces. And I'm going to start over here. And I'm going to just aura this line coming down. And you could do also, if you wanted to, actually I should back up a little bit, you could do little orbs in these spaces first, which I'm going to do. I'm going to do some orbs, but I'm also going to do some leaf shapes. Just randomly placing them. They can be different sizes. Okay. And I'm going to continue on this line because I'd forgotten that. And another one. And it's going to go around that little orb or rock in the stream. We'll stop in this one and come and bisect it or hop over it, pardon me, and continue on. Well, this is, yeah, I guess this is Nipa with leaves, and Nipa is spelled N-I-P-A, and it's an official Zentangle pattern. It was one of the very first ones I learned way back when. No, just take a moment if you can, every now and again, to drop your pen if you wish, and just check in with yourself and see where your feet, mine were legs are crossed, so reminding myself to do that. I'm going to put another orb right there. Maybe take a deep breath, stretch your fingers out, look out the window if you have a window, or look at something in the distance, the middle distance or far distance, to give your eyes a break. Okay. And then this one, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do an orb and a leaf shape. Remember, your leaves don't all have to go in the same direction. They can be different ways. Imagine you're looking at a stream with leaves floating down, which is one of my favorite things to watch. So beautiful. You're really lucky where I live because we have an 8-kilometer trail that runs through town and to the edge of town, and there are, I think, 3 creeks on it, and the salmon are here right now. We're the easternmost point of their return migration. So we can go and watch them spawn, which is very neat. Do this one here. This is a great one too. If your hands are a little wiggly, if you're, working on your motor skills, your fine motor skills, then it doesn't matter so much how the lines are, if they're straight or exact. They can be wiggly and it's okay. This works for wiggly. This is taking shape. Started out a little rusty, but checking out okay. Don't forget to breathe. Don't mind myself. Breathe. And if you want to, you can take a breath in and then slowly let it out while you do one of these long lines or longish lines. I also want to take a moment to thank people, A, for being here, and B, watching the video, and C, for making a donation. It really does help to keep Tangle Tuesday going and free for most people, and also keeps me in pens, and keeps the fun going. I really appreciate that. Okay. So I'm going to go and I'm going to restate this ribbon down the center. Just go over, same thing, with a pen. And I'm going to give you, whoops, really went over it there. Oh well. I kind of got stuck in a groove in the paper. Oh well. So now I'm gonna work with that. So I've got some thicker lines here that I didn't intend on. Let's do it. Let's put some thicker lines in here in different spots. Thicken up the line. Let's utilize the opportunity that's provided. Turn my paper here and just do it on the other side. And suppose you're happy with that. That is where you want to be. And you want to put in some lovely quote or something in the ribbon. That's just fine. But I'm going to show you some ways to, different ways to embellish this. And I'm going to take my pencil, my HB pencil. An HB pencil or a slightly softer pencil is good for shading. So a 2B is good, all the way up to maybe a 4B. That it'll spread really well and easily. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to go along this upper ribbon line and just tickle it with my pencil tip. Holding the pencil not perpendicular, but on an angle. And then take the tortillon. You can use your finger or a Q-tip. And shading there. Edge is not showing up very well. Let's see. Oh, that was wrong. I meant to do this. There, that's better. Okay. And then on the other side, here, let me do it this way. Make it comfortable for your hand. So turn your paper to where it's comfortable. So there's lots of shading. I mean, you just shade this one till the cows come home. Lots of areas of shading. I'm just going to show you just a few, what you can do. And then we've got these pencil lines. Remember these that we made at the beginning? So I'm just going to go over those again with my pencil. And carry on here. Oh, fruit fly, go away. That's the thing about living near orchards. This time of year, about August to November, well, pretty soon. I'm waiting for it to really freeze. So when it really freezes, then they take off. But right now, they're kind of annoying. Okay. I'll go here and do this one. It just gives us some sort of embellishment, dimension, depth. Changes it from a line drawing to something more. So this is a jumping off point for you. You could, do a lot with this, and I encourage you to take it to another level, this idea that I've just given you. That's all I've done is really given you a tool, an idea tool. and you can take off with it. And see what else you can add or change. So I think I want to do a little more shading in some places. I want to get a different pencil. Here is, no, it's not. It's too dark. Really make pencils. That is the problem. Okay, this is a really dark pencil. It's a 6B. But it's gonna really, so I don't need to use it. The softer the pencil, you don't need to use as much graphite down. You just have to put a little bit down. You want to really accentuate something in the area. It's good to use a soft pencil. And pencils aren't expensive. You can get a whole set for very little. Different hardnesses and really experiment. Ooh, see, I like that more. Yes. More. Why have less when you can have more? Okay. That's better. Shows up a little better for you. I'm just going to do a little here too. Oh yeah. I'm liking this crazy design that popped into my head while I was looking for something else, which is kind of funny. But that's kind of the way my creative mind works. Okay. And then if you want to, you can shade around the outside of these leaf shapes and orb shapes if you want. You could shade one side or both sides like I'm doing here. Just to give you a little sample right here. If you just did one side, this is what it would look like. And if you're going to do one side, you have to remember which way the light's coming from. So since this is my dark side, the light would be coming from this side. So I'd have to make sure that all the other elements that I was doing, that I was shading, reflected that. So each one of them would have one dark side and a light side. I'm just going to do a little more shading because I do love shading. It's fun. In classical drawing, I was taught to shade by using, we didn't ever use a tortillon. We used different hardnesses of pencil. So start with a very, 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 very hard pencil and carry in towards the object until it got softer and softer. And it was a job, but it really was beautiful. Okay, so I'm going to go in here with my colored pencils and show you what you can do there. You might want to color in some of these leaves. So I've just got this yellow ochre. You probably won't be able to see this very well. I'm just going to go in and let's do little circles. Cover that in a little bit. Maybe add a little pink. Why not? And go back in with the yellow and spread that out. And maybe at the end, just a little bit of this red. You know, when you reflect, you might reflect where you are. Like here, we don't have those, we don't have the great, wonderful maple colors. I mean, we do, somebody's got one in their yard, but naturally there's yellow ochres, browns, more dark, bricky red, if there is red, but a lot of yellow, an awful lot of yellow in our leaves in the fall, which is beautiful. I'm thankful, really thankful that I live somewhere where we can really appreciate changing the seasons. Ooh, pretty. See how pretty that is with the leaf shadow there. And don't forget to sign your work with a chalk or your initials or your name anywhere within it or on the edge of it. I'll show you the one that I did. So just to give you an idea, you could, you know, you can also with these lines here, you could, I shaded in blue crayon, pencil crayon on these lines, which would be these lines here. And yeah, and then also in this one, you can see this one is not leaf shaped, but they're all orb shaped, but some of them I blacked in alternating. So one's black on one side and the other. So you could do that with your leaves too. So you could do a colored side on one side and black in on the other side. Make it really, that would make it really dramatic. So that's a lesson for today. I want to thank you for joining me. And if you wish to make a donation, you go to the Color Garden Studio page, a splash page for YouTube. And on the tiny, tiny corner and a tiny, tiny right side, it says donate now, and you're welcome to donate to keep things going. And if you wish to, you can also share your work on the Tangle Tuesday, that's 2 words, Facebook page. And we'd love to see what you're doing and share your ideas with everybody. Stay well, keep safe, and we'll see you in a month.
Thank you.
Hang on, I gotta stop the recording.
Thanks.
Okay.